All right, it was a full house today at the Lexington Senior Center where people could learn more about various scams that are circulating out there on a daily basis.
Yeah, AARP Kentucky says hosting what they call scam jams has proven to help people avoid falling victim and losing, in some cases, hundreds or even thousands of dollars. WKYT's Mariah Congito has more.
More than 200 people are here today for the first scam jam to come to Lexington. And according to a new AARP report, over 141 million adults have been affected by fraud.
If you can spot a scam, you can stop a scam.
That's the motto of AARP Kentucky's Scam Jam.
We've learned that if folks go to these type of events about fraud and fraud awareness, they're less likely to be taken by fraud.
Every day, criminals take advantage of common communication methods like text, phone calls, and social media to scam people into giving them money or personal information.
Several of my friends have had it and lost all their savings.
These scams can be devastating. AARP Kentucky State President Gary Adkins says it doesn't matter what age you are, you can fall victim. Those seniors often have more appeal to criminals.
With seniors, they tend to get a whole lot more money because seniors have more savings, retirement savings, more money available.
AARP Kentucky hosts scam jams across the Commonwealth. Folks have the opportunity to hear from organizations like the Kentucky Attorney General's Office, U.S. Secret Service, and local sheriff's departments who teach them how to spot and avoid scams.
When they put money in these scams, it's very, very rare that they're ever going to be able to recover any money from the scammers.
Adkins says at one of their events in Louisville, a woman spoke about how she fell victim to a scam and lost $1.7 million. Attendee Carol Grange says scammers call her consistently.
About once a week, but now I'm familiar with it, and I try not to answer unless I know who's calling. You don't realize what's going on until after it's over and you've lost everything.
The free event also included paper shredding. People were encouraged to bring old personal documents to be destroyed in a secure way.
Adkins says they're hoping to expand this into eastern Kentucky coming up in the future. In Lexington, Mariah Congito, WKYT.